everyone, and thank you so much for joining the Community Ledger. I just wanted to jump in here today and share a video with you. It does look like Obama has crawled out from under that rock and has made a statement now that Trump has been elected. So it is interesting what he had to say. So let's go ahead and watch the video.
Has come to understand is the power of projection.
Yes.
Accuse your opponent of the sins which you're committing. President Obama gave us, former President Obama, gave us another example of projection Thursday night in Chicago. He gave a speech where he talked about the weaponization of government and the polarization of your opponent, the polarization of America. Let's listen to the words of former President Obama.
Since total victory is impossible in a country politically split down the middle, the result is a doom loop of government gridlock, even greater polarization. When I mentioned to a few friends that our foundation would be hosting a forum on democracy and pluralism, I got more than a few groans and eye rolls, especially since, as far as they were concerned, the election proved that democracy is pretty far down on people's priority list. There are going to be times, potentially, when one side tries to stack the deck and lock in a permanent grip on power, either by actively suppressing votes or politicizing the armed forces or using the judiciary, the criminal justice system to go after opponents.
Wow. Did he really just suggest that this new administration has the desire to do exactly what the Biden administration has done? Utilizing the DOJ to go after its political opponents, suppressing votes. We saw that in Virginia. We saw that in Pennsylvania. Is this not the party that wants to maintain power by any means necessary? Is that not why they were flooding the borders and trying to hurry up and get people fast-tracked to citizenship so that they could hurry up and get ID in time enough to vote? Democrat? So Obama is actually trying to insinuate that this new administration has the desires to do exactly what the Democratic Party has been doing for years. Wow.
That, my friends, is projection.
That is amazing, actually. So it's intentional. I mean, this isn't just some tick or something that just popped into his head because he's bummed out that they lost the election so bad. I mean, people need to understand Barack Obama has been a really negative force on this country and on politics and creating so much division. That comes from Saul Alinsky. People forget Barack Obama was teaching rules for radicals. He was teaching about Saul Alinsky at the University of Chicago. That is a hero to him. And one of his rules, among many, that was meant to basically dismantle society and bring about this, liberal utopia. One of them was how to attack your enemy. And Saul Alinsky, took his lessons from Lucifer, actually. Like, he talked about that being somebody who could teach them how to take power and control. And here's Barack Obama, Charlie, I think, really kind of going, he's in a bad spot.
Yeah.
He created this. He thought it was going to become this permanent power base for him. And now he's accusing the right of what he did because he's just super bummed out right now.
Yeah, and it is total projection. It's also desperation. That's the thing that is so striking to me about that entire, all those remarks that he made, that entire speech or whatever it was the depth of he's very bitter. That's not the Barack Obama who gave that speech in 2004. Even if you didn't agree with him and didn't like him and didn't agree with his policy prescriptions, it's a different guy than he was when he gave that speech in 2004 or when he won that election in 2008. He is a deeply bitter, angry guy, and he's talking about how voters don't care about democracy.
Hope and change has turned into dour and bitter.
Yeah. Bitter and
Really
projectionism.
And I would say, and while he's projecting, he's not just projecting that which we all know at this point, which is the Department of Justice was weaponized under Joe Biden. There was a consolidation of permanent Washington under Joe Biden. What we should also point out is it all began under Barack Obama.
Yes. Yep.
That is when, for example, he spied on a Fox News reporter. That is when Lois Lerner targeted conservatives with the IRS. That is when much of this began and was just extrapolated under the presidency of Joe Biden.
Yeah. And then they also under Barack Obama and then metastasized under Joe Biden, which, many people believe that administration was being run out of Obama's mansion in Colorado, Washington, D.C. But that said, I mean, the censorship industrial complex that was used to also consolidate that power is something else. And that's one of the things that people were really voting against, along with the weaponization of the government, this idea that it could be used to censor us and therefore allow them to consolidate power. Barack Obama is very isolated right now. Even his best friend, George Clooney, who wrote the op-ed that ended up pushing out Joe Biden, is now upset at Barack Obama, going, hey, you told me to write that op-ed. Now everyone's blaming me online. Where are you, Barack Obama? Barack Obama's becoming, he's not used to not being glorified. And this is an interesting moment for him.
Yeah, and meanwhile, across the aisle, you have Donald Trump, who has taken over the mantle of sort of occupying the broad center of American public opinion.
And so there you have it. I think these journalists over at Fox News are spot on. Obama seems incredibly bitter as of late. And truth be told, I don't know what his concern is. I don't know what his issue is. He's got a great life. He's got plenty of money. He's got multiple houses. He's got a wife. He's got children. He was the president of the United States. What does he have to be bitter about? I don't know. He can't run again, so it's not like he has to maintain some level of power. Yes, his party, I'm sure he wants his party to continue to maintain some sort of power, but that's just how politics go. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them. And so it was time for the Democratic Party to step aside and let another party be in control for a little bit. And so, even when he came out to Pennsylvania and made that notorious speech to black men, telling them that they, needed to go out and support Kamala and that giving excuses about the economy were just unjustified. And, I think he feels like his legacy is being slighted. He galvanized the Democratic Party in support of Hillary Clinton, and Hillary lost. He had hoped that Biden would win and do a great job with regards to his administration. Biden won, but has done a deplorable job with regards to his presidency and caused an insurmountable amount of harm to this nation, him and Kamala. And then, of course, he supported, I would say under duress, Kamala Harris, and now he sees that she is a train wreck as well. So it just seems like he's pissed about something. I don't know if he's upset because black people no longer respect him in the manner in which we did. Black people no longer trust him in the manner in which we did. And so the legacy that he's been trying to maintain and uphold is falling before his eyes. And he feels incredibly bitter about it. But listen, you made the bed, you need to lie in it. He is not innocent in regards to his goals and his desires and his push with regards to his administration. Black people didn't forget that he ain't do shit for us and did a whole lot for the LGBTQ community. People didn't forget that he was putting all those sanctions on Africa, trying to force African countries to support same-sex marriages. And people haven't forgot that he has since left Chicago and could give a damn about what is happening in that city. And so, black, like I said before in multiple videos, the black community is just tired, sick and tired of being tired. And, we have every right to be, every single right to be. And we have every right to not be worshiping Obama and any other politician or celebrity that thinks they are like the greatest gift to our community because they are a token, they are a representation, and that's supposed to be good enough for us. But it's not good enough. It's no longer enough. And so my prediction is that the Democratic Party is not going to be in office and in power for some time. It does appear that they continue to be disillusioned and they refuse to do or embark upon any sort of self-reflection. And so they're kind of just, on a hamster wheel going nowhere. They are still convinced that those that did not vote for Kamala are somehow uneducated and misinformed, and that a large number of the Americans in this country don't know what they need. Democrats know best. We don't know what we want. We don't know what's going on. We're just following trends, and Democrats know best. And that fallacy, that illusion that they have created for themselves and their party is dissolving before their very eyes. And they got a lot that they need to work on if they ever want to win anything again. Because, the devastation of this last election, it's going to affect them in 2 years. It's going to affect them in 4 years. It's going to affect them for a while, because things really got out of hand in this country. And like they say, it's the Trump mandate. The American public, every demographic said, enough is enough. And so it's very interesting. It's interesting to see Obama in this way, in this light, very despondent. And I guess we weren't as reliable as they thought. I guess it seems we're not as predictable as they want us to be and need for us to be. And they're going to have to change some things up. And it's interesting because I saw the other day that Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, had to sit down with Leslie Jones. You know what? Let me go ahead and play that, because I want you to see Leslie Jones and Gavin Newsom in that conversation. Let me just play that for you.
Stream of what you're just saying, and sort of distillation in the last few years, I sense in particular, was a reaction to George Floyd. It was sort of a reaction,
right,
sort of in that sort of COVID framework. This is sort of a boomerang that really exposes it at a whole nother level.
Yeah, I think that COVID us up. When we was inside for a little while, I think that some of us lost our mind. And I just think it's sadness. We're sad. We don't understand what's going on with our government. Our government is supposed to be boring. We're not supposed to turn on the TV every day and see child molesters and felons and in our government. We're supposed to be like, those are the most boring and we don't give a Everyone's frustrated because now this is happening and we never understood the system.
That's so disrespectful. That's so disrespectful. We don't know what's happening. We never understood our government. Politicians are supposed to be boring. We're not supposed to see pedophiles or criminals, felons, a part of our government. Girl, they always been there. They have always been there. And we didn't lose our minds during COVID. We woke up. Okay? That pandemic woke people up. People always insinuated, people always, whispered about, the hidden hand and what the government may be plotting behind our backs. And the pandemic certified our suspicions. Okay? So people who are already, looking at government with the side eye, especially in the Black community, once the pandemic hit, we opened our eyes wider to a lot more of what was happening in government. And then this border situation, because even after COVID, we was like, okay, we see you. Okay, now our eyes are open. We see what's going on. But then when they start opening that border and they start giving all these resources to all these immigrants, and they start stepping over Americans, and they start neglecting our communities so that they could run fast and provide tax dollars to all those immigrants, that's when Black people say, oh, enough is enough. Enough is enough. COVID was bad. That border situation, this immigration system, that's when it was official. That's when it became official. Oh, Okay, this government don't give a damn about you. Okay? This Democratic Party don't give a flying squirrel about your community. And if you don't wake up, and if you don't utilize your vote, if you don't take a stand, if you don't boycott this year, ain't nothing about to change for you. Ever. It's going to get way worse. Because they showed you how they feel about you. They compromised your ability to provide for your children. They told you if you don't get this shot, you will be fired. Okay? You will not be able to feed your children. Yes, put this experimental drug in your arm or else. We ain't forget that. And then in all these other communities, resources were snatched away and given to others. No. And you see what's happening here. You see Gavin Newsom is trying to position himself to run again. He wants to be reelected for governor. He wants to run. I suspect he wants to run as president in 2028. But that stunt he pulled with the California Black Caucus and that reparations bill, it ain't happening, brother. You see he on this podcast with some folks of color, okay? Trying to talk to some black folks about, oh, you know, what's happening now? What's going on? You know, trying to get an ear out on what's happening with us. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work, sir. No. That is not how it's gonna work. He issued an apology. He shut down the reparations bill and said, I'm gonna give y'all this little letter as an apology. I'm gonna give you this piece of paper as an apology, and I want you to be satisfied with that. And so what's happening now is the Democratic Party is congregating, creating a coalition to try to figure out how can we get these black folks to vote for us while not doing a damn thing for them like we always have. See, now they're pissed. Now they're upset. Now they want some things, but we know we ain't never wanted to give them shit. And we know we don't have no real desires to ever give them shit. So we know we can't win. We can't win without them. So what the F are we going to do? They playing it cool right now. They doing these little podcasts. You know, they giving their tears over here, making it seem like they emotional and they're concerned and they really want to know how we feel. No, they trying to figure out how they can continue to play us and get our asses back to them polls, back on that Democratic plantation, and getting nothing in return. That's the goal. That's the goal. But with the advent of social media and with everything that has happened within this past election, as well as with that pandemic, we ain't falling for it no more. It is a new day. Okay? It is a new day. And it's a lot of truth tellers out here. And folks ain't censoring themselves like they used to. The word is out. And so it's going to be a hard time. The Democrats going to have a hard time climbing back up that hill. So what is your opinion? What is your opinion of Obama giving a speech literally accusing the Republican Party of doing the exact same thing that the Biden administration has been doing for the last 4 years and giving an air of bitterness and annoyance? You know, it's not the joyful, audacity of hope that we're used to. It's not giving that kind of Obama anymore. So I'm curious what you think is going on, Why is he so upset? Why is he, feeling a way about our lack of obedience? And then what do you think about Mr. Gavin Newsom? Do you think that he should run for governor again? Do you think that he should try to gain power of the White House in 2028? I would love to hear what you think. So please do go ahead and put your comments in the comments section. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the Community Ledger.